Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. How are you? I hope you are well, safe and sound by the grace of Allah as usual. I am fine also by the grace of Allah. In my previous class, I discussed about the topic articles. There you see some rules of using articles, that is how we use articles, that is definite articles or indefinite articles, in a proper way. Today I would like to discuss about articles also, but a new idea, that is the omission of articles. I think if you want to know the basic ideas of articles, you must have to know where we should not use articles. For this reason, you should know and you should study some rules of omission of articles. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself with you. This is Mamata Sultana, Assistant Professor English, Jaipurhat Government Women's College, Jaipurhat. This is my second class with you. Here you see the title, Omission of Articles. Actually, omission means where we should not use articles. If we don't know these rules and if we use articles everywhere, I think it would be very odd to using English languages. For this reason, we should know where we should not use articles. Here you see the articles are not generally used before the followings. First of all, you say we should not use article before proper nouns. You know there are many kinds of nouns, and proper noun is one of them, and we cannot use articles before proper nouns. For example, you see Dhaka is the capital of Bangladesh. Here we don't use the before Dhaka because it's a proper noun. Then you see there is another rules. We should not use articles before material nouns. Material nouns, for example, gold is a precious metal. But you should remind one thing, that if we particularize the material nouns, we must have used the before that material noun. But here you see the example, gold is a precious metal. Here gold is not particularized. For this reason, we can't use article here. Again, you say we cannot use articles before abstract nouns. Abstract means the things we cannot touch. We have to feel the things. For example, honesty is the best policy. Honesty is an abstract noun. Then, before uncountable noun, we cannot use articles. For example, I am fond of tea. We cannot count tea. For this reason, it is uncountable and we cannot use article before tea. Another example for you. She likes milk. Milk is another example of uncountable noun. Then, before meal, lunch, dinner, we cannot use articles or should not use articles. For example, I shall invite you to lunch. Here, if you follow, you should see that we cannot use any kind of article before lunch. Then, before the name of different languages, we cannot use articles. For example, she speaks French. French is a name of a language and we cannot use article before French language. Then, she is expert in English. Here, we cannot use article before. Again, we cannot use articles before the name of different games. For example, she can play football or cricket, etc. Then, before the name of day and month, we cannot use articles. For example, January is the first month of the year. Here, the name January is a name of a month and we cannot use article before January. Then, before the name of the festivals, different festivals, we cannot use articles. For example, Eid al-Fitr is the biggest religious festivals of the Muslims. Dear students, if you see attentively, you see the Eid al-Fitr is name of the festivals and here we cannot use any articles. Thereafter, generally, we do not use article before idiomatic phrases. For example, they live from hand to mouth. এটার অর্থ তারা দিন আনে দিন খায়। A hand to mouth is a kind of idiomatic phrase. For this reason, we cannot use article before this kind of idiomatic phrases. Then, before society, nature, space, night, we cannot use articles. For example, we live in society, I like nature, etc. Dear students, you should attentively follow these rules because it's a big rule. Here, we can't use article before radio, television, cinema, theatre if it used as job or profession sector. But if it means as a medium of recreation or as a machine, then we have to use article. The before it. However, we cannot use the before television. For example, he worked both in radio and television. But if I say, I always listen to the radio while I driving, but hardly watches television. আমি একটু বুঝিয়ে বলি, যখন রেডিও, টেলিভিশন, সিনেমা, থিয়েটার এগুলো পেশা বা চাকুরি হিসেবে বোঝাবে, ব্যবহৃত হবে, তখন তার পূর্বে আমরা কোনো আর্টিকেল ব্যবহার করব না। কিন্তু এই মাধ্যমগুলো যদি বিনোদন মাধ্যম বা যন্ত্র হিসেবে ব্যবহৃত হয়, তখন তার পূর্বে আমাদেরকে দি ব্যবহার করতে হবে। যদিও আমরা টেলিভিশনের পূর্বে দি ব্যবহার করতে পারব না। If you see the examples, you can understand easily the rules. Then the clause or sentence which is ended with the adjective word, we can't use any article before that adjective. অর্থাৎ যেই সেন্টেন্স বা ক্লোজগুলো অ্যাডজেক্টিভ ওয়ার্ড দ্বারা শেষ হয় সেই অ্যাডজেক্টিভের পূর্বে আমরা আর্টিকেল ব্যবহার করতে পারবো না। ফর এক্সাম্পল, he is honest. Here honest is adjective and we cannot use any article before honest. Then I am innocent. Innocent is a kind of adjective and you cannot use article before innocent. Then except noun, we cannot use article before any other parts of speech. অর্থাৎ নাউন বাদে আমরা অন্য কোনো পার্টস অফ স্পিচে আর্টিকেল ব্যবহার করতে পারবো না, শুধুমাত্র নাউনের পূর্বে আমরা আর্টিকেল ব্যবহার করে থাকি। ফর এক্সাম্পল, হি ইজ রেসপেক্টেড বাই অল। Then to indicate noun, there are some other determiners. For example, my, your, his, her, its, our, their, these, their, these, those, any, some, more, most, both, each, all, many, much, no, other, enough, several, few, which, what, etc. These are some other determiners which indicate nouns. If we use any of these determiners before noun, then we cannot use article before that noun. For example, my pen is lost. Here my is a kind of determiner. I have no pen, etc. Then we cannot use article before school, college, church, bed, hospital, market, prison, garden, etc. When these places are visited or used for their primary purpose. For example, he goes to college every day. She reached Captain Bazar, etc. Then, before common noun preceded by the phrases kind of, sort of, species of in interrogative sentences, that is, we cannot use article before common noun preceded by the phrases kind of, sort of, species of in interrogative sentences. For example, what sort of man is he? That is, যেই common noun গুলো পূর্বে kind of, sort of, species of এই টাইপ কথা থাকবে ইন্টারোগেটিভ সেন্টেন্সের ক্ষেত্রে, সেখানে আমরা কোনো আর্টিকেল ব্যবহার করতে পারবো না। এক্সাম্পলটা দেখলেই তোমরা বুঝতে পারবে। এখানে দেওয়া আছে what sort of man is he? Here man is a common noun and in front of man we use sort of. For this reason here we can't use any article. Another rule, we cannot use articles before whom when it means the home of the speaker or the person spoken to. For example, go home, stay at home. But we have to remind that when home is followed by a descriptive phrase or clause, the is necessary here. For example, She was married to the home of her grandparents. অর্থাৎ হোম কথাটা স্পিকারের নিজের হোম বা যাকে উদ্দেশ্য করে বলা হচ্ছে তার হোমের কথা বলা হচ্ছে, তখন তার পূর্বে আমরা আর্টিকেল ব্যবহার করব না। কিন্তু যদি হোম কোনো ডিসক্রিপটিভ ফ্রেজ অর ক্লোজ কে ফলো করে, ডিসক্রিপটিভ মানে বর্ণনামূলক, ফ্রেজ অর ক্লোজ কে ফলো করে, তখন তার পূর্বে আমাদেরকে দি বসাতে হবে। এক্সাম্পল ইজ সেইং দ্যাট। Then, generally, article is not used in the middle of adjective and noun. Dear students, listen attentively. When generally article is not used in the middle of adjective and noun and adverb and adjective. In the middle of adjective and noun and adverb and adjective. For example, patriotism is a noble virtue. Again, he is not so honest as you told. Here, before noble and virtue, noble is adjective and virtue is noun. We cannot use any kind of article. Again, he is not so honest as you told. That is adverb and adjective. Here, so is adverb and honest is adjective. We can't use article before these two. Then, we cannot use articles before the names of squares, buildings, parks, streets, avenue, palace, etc. For example, Buckingham Palace, then Palace Street, etc. We cannot use articles before complement of a transitive verb. Complement of a transitive verb. Transitive verb. You should know what transitive verb is. Here I cannot describe all the things. For example, they made him president. Here we cannot use any articles. Again, we cannot use any articles before the words king and queen if they are followed by the name of king or queen and before titles when they are used in opposition to a noun. অর্থাৎ আমরা রাজা এবং রানী এই টাইপ কথার পূর্বে দি ব্যবহার করতে পারবো না যদি রাজা এবং রানী পরে তাদের নাম বা তাদের টাইটেল যুক্ত থাকে। ফর এক্সাম্পল, কুইন ভিক্টোরিয়া, কিং জর্জ V, etc. Then, we cannot use articles before some diseases and the names of the subjects of humanities and science. For example, cancer is a fatal disease. On the other hand, she is taking up honors degree in chemistry. But there are some diseases. You should know that one thing. There are some diseases where we have to use the article the. For example, the plague, the mumps, etc. We cannot use article before man or woman in the sense of mankind and before father, mother, uncle, aunt or baby when it expresses our father, our mother, our auntie, our aunt or uncle, etc. For example, men and women should go side by side in this world. Another example, uncle is coming, baby is crying. Very nice example, I think. Dear students, these are all the rules of the omission of articles if you studied these rules properly, I think it would be easy for you to use articles in a right way and you can easily get 5 marks. If you follow my first class and this is my second class with you, you can be able to know the total parts of the articles and it would be easy for you to use articles properly. Now here, for your um, better understanding, I set some sample questions for you. In my first questions, you see a passage that is, here there is a gap, gap number 1, A. You see, discipline is seen even dash nature. We know we cannot use article before abstract noun and nature. For this reason, here we have to use cross marks. That is, in A number gap, we cannot use any kind of articles. Here we have to use cross. And in B number gap, we also have to cross because we cannot use any kind of articles before nature. In my rules, I mentioned you that. Every morning, sun rises in dash east. Dash sun rises in dash east. Here you should know that we have to use D before sun, D before and D before east because sun only, there is only one sun in this earth. Every morning the sun rises in the east. Day follows. You should know that we cannot use article before night also. For this reason here we have to use cross. Day follows night. Birds sing and F number gap, plants blossom. Here again we should not use any kind of articles. Then everywhere in nature, it's also here we should give cross mark because here is nature. There is a harmony. There is a harmony because here is the pronunciation of H is uttered. Then if there was no discipline in nature, that means we should not use any kind of article here. Nature, there would have been chaos everywhere. Here also you have to use cross marks. Very easy, dear students. I see it's a very easy sample question for you if you know the rules. Then again there is another sample question for you. You see here, life is full of a number gap unfavorable circumstances. Here we should not use any kind of article. For this reason we have to put here cross. Life is full of unfavorable circumstances. Here we have to use the great man in the world bravely faced the adverse situations. Because we have to here because it's specific, only the great man, and there is only one word. And here the situation, there are many kinds of situation, and here I mentioned only the adverse situation. For this reason we have to use the here. These situations bring out a man's latent qualities. A man's latent qualities. Here you have to use a because man is not specific here. The people in such circumstances learn many virtues like fortitude and bravery. Only the virtuous and brave men can conquer the obstacles of life. Only the virtuous. That is a specific. You should know, you should understand why we use the here. The adverse situation have glorified the mind and character of great men. Here we should have to use the and the. In I number gap we have to use the. In J number gap we also have to use the. The adverse situations have glorified the mind and character of great men. These are the sample, dear students, these are the sample questions for you. There are some many other questions, board questions in your book. If you follow the rules, or if you what should I say, if you solve those questions, I think, and if you understand the rules properly, I think it would be easy for you to understand the rules of understand and the rules of articles, and to use the articles in a proper way. This is all for today, and these are all about articles. I think, dear students, you should stay at home and be safe. And I hope in my next class I will be with you with some other topics which you feel problems. Till then, Allah Hafiz. Assalamu alaikum.